Hello there, I'm Tommy Maroon. Welcome to episode number 279. Yes, I keep track of them, and so do the people here at WCTV. Anyways, enough on that. We got to talk about the Cleveland Guardians because that season's still going on strong, folks. Let's look at the team batting stats. And wow, would you look at that? There's Kyle Manzardo. He's not doing shabby. We'll get to what he did yesterday in a bit. But team batting average is sitting at 235, OPS at 686, 62 home runs. This is all heading into yesterday's game, by the way. 84 doubles, 6 triples, 227 runs batted in, 191 walks, and a good chunk of strikeouts, 478. Series recaps, let's look at them. Guardians against the Angels was a 3-game win for the Guardians.
Getting closer to first.
2-game win out of 3, I ought to say. Golly, Neds. Anyways, Nolan Jones had the only RBI for the good old Guardians in Game 1. Luis Ortiz had 6 strong innings in Game 1. So there was that. What else is there? Steven Kwan had 3 hits and a home run in Game 2. Jose Ramirez had a home run in Game 2 as well. And let's not forget, the Angels were up 4-0 after the 4th inning, after top of the 4th at least in Game 2. But they just could not for the life of them hold on, and the Cleveland Guardians came back and won. Isn't that always a good thing? I think it's a good thing. And then Jose Ramirez hit a home run in Game 3. So there is that. And then Gavin Williams won 6.2 in Game 3. And right now, the current series is Guardians at the Yankees, where that series is tied 1 game apiece. The rubber match will be today, actually, at 7:05 p.m. Max Fried, oh boy, he's on the mound for those Yankees. He's carrying a 1.92 ERA. That's pretty darn impressive, if you ask me. And he'll be going up against Slade Ciccone. So there is that. He is 1-1 with a 5.28 ERA. And anyways, enough on that, because Jazz Chisholm and Anthony Volpe hit some very cheap Yankee Stadium home runs in Game 1. Short porch at right. They really took advantage of it. Yankee Stadium's the smallest ballpark in baseball, obviously. And it drives everyone nuts, including myself. I'm not even a baseball player. Anyways, Tanner Bybee had 4 no-hit innings heading into Game 1, or during Game 1, gave up his first hit in the 5th, and ultimately things would eventually unravel, which is quite a shame. What's not a shame is that the Guardians fought back and got the win in Game 2, where Angel Martinez, 2-run bomb in Game 2, Daniel Schneemann, 3 hits in Game 2. Let's not forget Kyle Manzardo hit a home run in Game 2. I said Game 4 for some odd reason on my paper, but I fixed it right now. Anyways, looking at things because we can. Guardians are 33-27, not too shabby. They are 1 game ahead of the 3rd wild card. They sit at the 2nd wild card, Minnesota number 2. And of course, Detroit just been on fire all season long. They are 41-22. They picked up the win yesterday. Who did they play yesterday? I'm trying to see. They played the White Sox and they won pretty handily. So there was that. Who was on the mound for them? Not Tarek Skubal, who of course is one of the best pitchers in the game of baseball, but I'm pretty sure we all know that by now. Anyways, enough on that, because the Guardians are doing pretty good. And, of course, the best team in baseball, the Detroit Tigers. Who would have thunk that? Who would have thunk that? The Dodgers are only up 1 game on the Padres. Oh, my goodness. It's definitely been a free-for-all so far all season long. All teams tightly contested out there. Houston only ahead by half a game over the Mariners. Well, that's just how it is in the wonderful world of the MLB. Anyways, time for the NBA, because Game 1 of the finals is tonight. My goodness. This game you're looking at right here was the very last game ever broadcast by who do you call them? The good old NBA on TNT. Yes, the very last NBA on TNT broadcast. Quite a shame, too. They've been running it for 36 seasons. I believe 36 seasons. Yeah, I think so. But anyways, enough on that. It's a shame because they did a good job, and Inside the NBA is leaving for ESPN. Hopefully it'll be the same show, but we don't know by now. But what I do know is that we got to talk about Game 5 first and foremost. New York Knicks won Game 5. They are still alive after Game 5. They were still alive after Game 5, winning 111-94. Where we saw Jalen Brunson score 32 and Karl Anthony Towns 24 points and 13 rebounds. Benedict Mathurin 23 points, 9 rebounds for Indiana, 15 points for Pascal Siakam. Pacers were not winning during Game 5, and the Knicks had 5 more rebounds in Game 5 than Indiana. The Pacers, that is. And then in Game 6, Pacers closed out the series with a very impressive 125-108 win. They make the finals for the first time since 2001. Larry Bird was their head coach. Yeah, how about that? Anyways, Pascal Siakam, 31 points. Tyrese Haliburton, 21, 13 assists. And meanwhile, for the Knicks, OG Anunoby had 24, and Karl Anthony Towns 22 points and 14 rebounds. This game is, of course, Game 6 that you're looking at right now. And then again, the Knicks had 5 more rebounds than the Pacers, which is hard to believe because it happened for back-to-back games. And Tom Thibodeau, head coach of the New York Knicks, 5 very productive, 5 very successful and fruitful seasons. They fired him after that. I know. Very odd. That's something we've been seeing a lot in the NBA over the last few years. Coaches going out just like that. And that's exactly what happened. Thibodeau was coach of the year, I believe, 4 years ago. Now he's gone, which is so hard to believe. What's also hard to believe is, once again, this was the last game that TNT broadcast and last Inside the NBA on TNT. Makes me sad because they did a good job, of course. I already said that, but it's true. But anyways, looking at Game 1, which is tonight at 8:30, featuring the Indiana Pacers going to Oklahoma City to take on the Thunder. Of course, it should be exciting. The projected starters for Indiana: Miles Turner, Pascal Siakam, Andrew Nembhard, Tyrese Haliburton, and Aaron Nesmith. And for Oklahoma State's former Cavalier Isaiah Hartenstein, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, Luguentz Dort, Chet Holmgren, the Gonzaga Bulldog, I believe, and Jalen Williams. Jalen Williams from Santa Clara. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is Canadian. Did you know that, folks? Well, now you do. What you also know is that this has been quite a treat for NBA fans, unless you're a Cavs fan like myself and most people watching this show, because Cavs got slapped in the face by the Pacers in 5 games, which was really rough. I'm just saying, Pacers have lost 4 games in the postseason. The Thunder have lost 4 games in the postseason. So one of those teams will wind up with 8 losses in the, postseason. Remember, just some food for thought, there's not been a clean sweep in the NBA Finals since 2018. When Golden State swept the good old Cavaliers. And there has not been a 7th game since that legendary 2016 NBA Finals, when the Cavs finally did it for the whole city of Cleveland, the first major sports championship, of course, to come to the area in over half a century. But I'm pretty sure we all know that by now. If there were to be a Game 7, it would be June 22nd at 8 p.m. home to the Thunder. And this is also going to be ABC's last NBA Finals. Oh my goodness. Everybody's leaving. NBC is going to take over. I believe Amazon Prime is also going to take over. Oh my goodness. Lots and lots of basketball coverage coming to an end. It's the end of an era, my friends. It is the end of an era. Well, folks, I was watching Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals last night. Oh my, what a game. 4-3, Edmonton won it. I know I don't talk hockey too much because there is no professional Cleveland hockey team, but I still watch it. It's a whole bunch of fun. But anyways, 4-3, Leon Draisaitl walked it off in overtime with 31 seconds left in overtime. Oh my goodness, that was one of the greatest finishes I've ever seen. Thought we were going to go to see a second overtime out there, but we didn't. And it was just a phenomenal game. Edmonton outshot them 14-2 in the third period. Good Lord. Of course, Edmonton really put a bunch of heat on the Panthers. Here's more food for thought. There's never been a clean sweep in the Stanley Cup Final since 1998, when the Detroit Red Wings swept the Washington Capitals. If you want to watch Stanley Cup Finals, that is on TNT right now, of course, True TV and HBO Max, according to the good old NHL app. And tomorrow night, Game 2, featuring, you guessed it, the Panthers and the Oilers. My goodness, I'd just like to say every team that's won the Eastern Conference over the 2020s has been a Florida team. Whether it's the Lightning 2020, 21, 22, or the Panthers 23, 24, 25. Dear heavens, that's insane. But Edmonton has not won the Stanley Cup since 1990. And you know what? No Canadian teams won the Stanley Cup since 1993, when Montreal did it. Edmonton trying to change their fortunes out there for the country. Connor McDavid doing a phenomenal job. Of course, Leon Draisaitl walked it off last night, which was unbelievable in my opinion. Definitely something worth beholding. And you know what's also worth beholding? We got 78 days until high school football. Let me check to see if I'm right or whatnot. Days until August 22nd. Let me check. 78 days. Yeah, that's 11 weeks from now. Eventually, we'll have picks and predictions for high school football, which is going to be really fun to see. And, of course, until next time, I'm thanking you. That's right, you folks at home for watching. So long, everybody.
You are watching WCTV, Wadsworth Community Television.